All right, we're back with our Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Self-Defense Course here at Gracie Schwarzwald. I'm with Eric Mete, and now we're going to go into our first basic fundamental clinch position, and that is the double unders control. This is probably the primary one from a Jiu-Jitsu self-defense standpoint. It's the one you should really focus on mastering and fighting for. It's an incredibly powerful position. The reason that we focus so much on clinches again is I need to be in a position where I can exert maximum control over him and I can nullify as many of his options and his ability to hurt me as possible. Okay, so when I come in for the double under clinch, and we'll focus on getting into this position, some of the later techniques, but we'll just talk about the position now. I can have my leg on the outside of his, I can have my leg on the inside. I don't want to just stand like this. I want to have a slightly bladed position. Let me get you on this side. Okay. When I lock my hands, we're going to generally go high and low. I talked about this in my earlier video, 2s and 9s. I don't want to be in the middle. When I go low, I have maximum control of his hips. And when I go high, I have maximum control of his shoulders. And his hips are kind of useless. They can't manipulate me very much around. If I'm in the middle, I don't really control his shoulders or his hips. Okay, so you have to decide which one you're going to go for. For now, we're going to go low. But why is the double under so effective? Okay, why do we fight for it when we're, pummeling, things like this? It's because, hold your arms up. I basically have control of everything from his armpit all the way down to his legs, all the way down to his feet. So I could go from a high clinch all the way down to a low single, back up again. I have all of that part of his body to pick him up with. So if I want to lift you right now, it's possible. Grab my head, lift me straight up. You can't. Maybe he can try to throw me some way, but he's not just going to pick me up. Okay? So this is one reason we're fighting for this. He's only got that, whereas I've got the rest of his body. Okay, so which grip you're going to use? We talked about the 3 grips. Again, completely up to you. Now, when I go, for now, we'll step to the outside. When I step to the outside with the double unders, I don't like to be all the way to this side. Okay? Because I'm not controlling this arm, which means he can lock his arms or he can punch me in the face. Lock your arms. Can you pull me down this way now? Probably. Right? Now, if I'm controlling this arm and you try to pull me, you can't because you can't pull that arm across, right? So it's not the same thing. But I also don't want to be just right in front because you pull your hips away. It's really hard to hold on to. So the position I'm going to go to is I want his leg right between my legs. I'm going to be about a 45-degree angle off here, this way. And I'm connected as much as possible. Again, I look at it this way. If I take 2 boards and I put them together and I put 1 nail through, can you break those 2 boards apart?
No. Maybe?
Yeah, you can eventually, right? It's not going to be easy. That's the whole point of a nail. Mm-hmm. But you get a wedge in there, you can break it, right? Now, if I take 2 squares of wood and I nail nails this way and this way and this way and this way.
That will be hard to break away.
Be hard, right? Because there's so many more points of connection, right? So if I hold you and my shoulder is connected to you and maybe my head, pull your hips away. I'm going to hold on really tight. I want you to move your hips away. Push on me if you have to. Here. Okay? Because I've only got 1, maybe 2 points of connection. Okay? Now, I connect from my hips all the way up to my head. So I'm here. Now pull away. Here, look, come back. I use 1 hand. Pull away. Okay? That's the power of connection, right? They look like the same position, but they're not. Okay, so when we move in, we want to connect all the way, which means, look at my posture. I'm not bent over like this. If I'm bent over, where am I looking?
Down.
Which means where am I going to be going? Down. Right? I always want to dominate the angles relative to us. Okay, I'll really cover this a lot in my pressure and control DVD. But if we're looking like this right now, we're both equal. Right? If I move to this side, I dominate this angle, right?
Yeah.
If I come here, I dominate this angle, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I just come in and I put myself down like this,
I dominate the angle.
right? I'm looking away from you, I'm looking down, It's all very bad for me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move in. I'm going to put my head right here in his jaw, okay? And I'm going to connect all the way down. So when I step in, I'm this way. So now you want to turn and drive into me. Okay. Notice if you can turn and drive into me, even with the overhooks, lock your hands, you might be able to take me back this way, right? So turn into me, drive me. Okay. Here. I want you to even push me that way. Okay. So again, I'm not looking down. I've got my head right here. The other thing is by having my head here, how easy is it to hit me? It's a lot harder to hit me with any. You can maybe touch me a little bit, but if my head is right here, my whole faceplate is wide open, right? Okay, so that is our position. We step in, we go double unders, and I'm locking around his waist. Now, where am I locking? It's one thing I see people do all the time. Is they're either locking on the hip, which is bone, right? And also you don't really bend there. Or they come up on the ribs. There's a soft spot right between the hip bone and the ribs. That's where I lock my arm. So you should know you're doing it right if when you come in and you squeeze, you hear that breath.
I don't have a soft spot here.
Right, yeah, he's got the hard abs, but if they didn't, you would hear, okay. So which grip you use, again, is up to you on this. Okay, now again, I could step in from the front, have my leg in the middle, but for now, we're gonna step to the outside, dominate the head control. The other reason I want my head here is if my head is here, I want you to hit a headlock and throw me this way. Yeah. Okay. Again. Because you can't pass my head across, you can't throw me that way, right?
Yeah.
So I taught this to Erkan, and he got really freaking good at this and annoyed me, which was when we battle, and what? You would get that head right in and dominate this angle on me. Okay, and I wouldn't realize it until we're sparring, and then I'd be like, oh man, why did I ever teach him this? Okay, but again, it's not a matter of head in, hips back. Okay, the other reason, if I'm this way, can you knee me? Right, I'm gonna be eating knees, okay? Because maybe you don't knee in sport jiu-jitsu, but
on the street, you do.
On the street, if a person can't necessarily hit you with their arms or their head, they're gonna knee you, right? So right now, if you try to headbutt me, knee me, punch me, here. Okay, so that's our low double under clinch. Now, sometimes I get the double under clinch and I may need to go high. What are the reasons? You always understand, again, everything's a tool. The strength here is, again, I can bend his body, I can lift his body. It's hard for him to pull away from me, which means he can't escape or to throw me. The weakness, okay? Weakness is, can you put your hands down? Could you reach into your pockets or my pockets? Yeah, okay. His arms are more free to move around. And also, if I lose the control, he starts moving his hips away, right? I say this all the time. When we get mount, what is our #1 goal when we hold mount?
When we hold mount,
Yep.
to stay on mount.
To stay on mount, right? I don't care about the submissions. I won't lose mount if it means trying to get a submission and to lose. Same thing with the clinch. You see people practice, if they do it all practice this sort of thing, they'll practice, you know, here, they'll get to the clinch, and then they'll go, okay. Well, just because you got to the clinch, does it mean the fight's over?
Yeah, no, that's...
Does it mean he's going to be trying to break out of it, right? Because what does he want? He wants to get back to here, right? So you have to practice holding the clinch. So we'll practice a lot of times, get the clinch, and then you got to hold it, right? Person's moving around trying to break the hold. And that is an exhausting but important skill to have, okay? So I want to keep his hips close to me, okay? Because the farther away his hips are, just like our self-defense escape, the weaker my grip gets, it gets stretched, I'm going to lose the grip. And I don't want to lose and have to start all over again re-getting the clinch. So one way we can do this is, when I'm here and he starts moving his hips away, I'm going to switch my grip to the S grip, okay? And the reason is I can bring my elbows and my arms much higher. So he moves his hips away. Before I lose the grip, I'm going to slide my hands up and bring him back in. Move your hips back. Here. Now look, I can drop back down and come into our clinch. He moves his hips away, I come in. Or maybe this is a situation like a police officer or something, reach down for a weapon. Here. And then you can start maybe using that to take somebody down. Because when they're here, it brings our hips back in or brings our hips, I get my hips close to him again, makes it hard again for him to use his legs against me. So you want to be able to learn how to slide from low clinch to high clinch, drop back down to low clinch if you need. So he gets the low clinch on me, I start moving my hips away, he slides up, brings me back in, he can stay there or he can go back to the low clinch. Okay. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to understand how to clinch fight.